Questions for Bobby. What I like about the case that you give is that you show that crime is really a business and it operates under the ordinary constraints of business, which is we've got a product, we need to be able to sell it to someone. And what you point at is that there's a way in which you can remove people purchasing the product by having more information. Right, so car dealerships who knew that these are stolen cars wouldn't want to buy them because it creates risk for them. So can we apply that model where we try and understand other kinds of crimes and change the incentive structure? So Kanthan points out, if you have an effective policing system, you're less likely to commit the crime because you could wind up behind bars. You mentioned that your chances of going through a judicial process are going to be very lengthy and expensive, and so people will take the risk. So what are the other kind of economic and incentive factors that we could use to drive down other kinds of crimes?
So this morning in my sales meeting, a name pops up, and I've done a lot of research in 30 minutes about a specific person. Most of you will know who this person is. King of bling. So one of my top performing salespeople grew up with him. They were homies like this, arm's length, greeted each other, hung out, and he said, that he brought R. Kelly to Attridgeville, and R. Kelly hang out with us, and I'm like, really? Yeah. So we're having a conversation. I have one sales lady, and she says, I was there. I'm like, how old were you? No, I was 19. I'm like, oh, you were too old. You were safe, because of that with R. Kelly. But it goes back to, in my core, I believe that you should be very careful with who you make a hero in a community. So, if you grew up in Attridgeville, King of Bling is Robin Hood. Everybody wants to be like him. Every girl wants to be with him. So he drives around in a Lambo, has 2 Rolex watches, one on each arm, and he's a criminal. Everybody knows he's a criminal, but because he's so well connected and because he's got this persona around him, he is a hero for the community. If we look at a doctor that comes out of Attridgeville as well, and this is stories that I hear from my colleagues, this doctor has made it. He's got a big house in a big estate, multi-millionaire, also has fancy cars. No one speaks about him. He's not idolized. So I think, at its core, we need to be careful who we put on a pedestal, and we make, especially for the youth, who is the hero today. We need to be very careful about that. And the moment you have the wrong hero, you will have a following. The moment you have the right hero, he will also create a following. So if we idolize the doctor, then perhaps more youth would want to be as the doctor. So I think the start is putting very successful people that come out of a situation similar to King of Bling on a pedestal and pushing that and driving that and telling their story on public platforms. In the early 2000s, it wasn't easy. Today, it's easy. Social media allows a lot of reach. The moment we do that, we because it's all programming, right? I'm brainwashing my salespeople in the morning to do certain actions at certain times and serve the customers certain ways so that when I'm done brainwashing them, a result is achieved. So you are getting brainwashed by someone. Who are you getting brainwashed by?